お前はもう、お前はもう死んでいる。
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night, depending where you are joining us in the world today. And welcome to another Decrypting Crypto and Breakout Solutions live stream. And I'm Wasim Debussy, your host for today. And as you saw in that video, people usually FOMO in at Bitcoin when it gets to all-time highs. Right now is a great opportunity to get in, so let's discuss that. Today, we are going to go through some very, very big news happening around the world. Another bank fails. So First Republic Bank has failed. This was reported about last week. We started talking about it. Treasury Secretary Yellen has come out and said that if the US may default on their obligations as early as 1st of June 2023. And we've got up to 24 nations trying to join the BRICS as they start planning to launch the new currency later on this year. So let's get into it, guys. Big news today, and a lot of things. All right, let me just bring the screen up here. All right, so today, first up, we've got JPMorgan to acquire troubled First Republic Bank. Now, this is the third bank now in America to fail. So banking giant JPMorgan will take over the assets of the troubled First Republic Bank after a seizure by the FDIC. Basically, what's going to be happening here is, as the first of this month, so yesterday, this bank has closed. JPMorgan will assume all the assets for the First National Bank, and including uninsured deposits. Okay, currently at around $229 billion in assets and $103 billion in deposits. As part of the transfer, 84 locations of the First Republic Bank in 8 states will reopen as JPMorgan Chase. So what does that tell you? That tells you what I've been saying before, is that these larger banks are now consuming the smaller banks. So they're getting rid of the smaller guys as they did in the pandemic before. Smaller businesses will close down, larger businesses will take a bigger market share. So this is happening again with the banking system. So they want everybody to have their deposits with the large banks, the ones that are too big to fail. And I've spoken about how the banking system in America, the Fed, is a cartel, and this is starting to play out right now. Next up, we've got, as part of these transfers of assets, loss sharing agreement is also agreed upon between the FDIC and JPMorgan. So basically, what's happening here is, as they recover the funds, the funds, FDIC will also the losses and any recoveries. So any losses will be shared, but also any recoveries will be shared between FDIC and the JPMorgan. So the FDIC could potentially be making money from this. So this obviously started with the trouble started happening on the 26th of February last week when we started mentioning it, with the price of the stock share, or the stock price of the bank tanking about 20% in hours. All right, so moving on to more bad news. We got, come on, load up. So this is about Janet Yellen. Okay, I need to scroll. Janet Yellen warns US could default on its debt by June 1st. So in a letter that she sent over to Washington, she basically said that the government has up until June 1st to either remove or suspend, to either increase or suspend the debt ceiling. So obviously America is at its debt ceiling and they need to raise it again. So that means they can get to more debt. So it basically says, after reviewing recent federal tax receipts, our best estimate is that we will be unable to continue to satisfy all the government's obligations by early June, and potentially as early as June 1. If Congress doesn't raise or suspend the debt ceiling, as she says here. So she clarifies that the Treasury Department estimates of when this could default, well, basically just saying that this is just based on current data and there's no way for sure to say when it will happen. But then she goes on to says, waiting until the last minute to take action can cause serious harm to businesses and consumer confidence, raise short-term borrowing costs for taxpayers and negatively impact the credit rating of the United States. If Congress fails to increase the debt limit, it would cause several hardships to American families, harm our global leaders. She's saying that congressional budget office similarly estimates US debt could happen in June. So basically, they said because of tax receipts throughout April have been less than the congressional budget office anticipated in February, we would now estimate that there's significantly greater risk of the Treasury will run out of funds in early June. So it's not looking good over there for the Americans. We've got banks failing, and now we've also got the American government cannot pay its debt, which brings more reason as to why a lot of countries are looking at joining the BRICS. So this is according to Daily Huddle, I should say. And it's saying 24 nations align against the US dollar as BRICS looks to launch a new global currency. So as a total of 24 nations are now looking to build a strategic alliance that will challenge the US dollar long role as there's a lot of countries that are looking at joining the BRICS. We've discussed this quite a lot. Africa's ambassador tells Bloomberg that 13 countries have formally asked to join, and 6 countries have informally asked as part of the alliance. This includes Saudi Arabia, Iran, Argentina, UAE, Algeria, Egypt, Bahrain, Indonesia, 2 unnamed nations from East Africa and 1 from West Africa. So this is also according to the Russian state Duma deputy or the state-run 8 news agency. They said that BRICS are also in early stages of developing a new global currency that will circumvent the US dollar. And also, they're talking about making this backed by precious metals. The de-dollarization is happening. If the BRICS start launching their own currency, this could really challenge the US dollar. And we've got America really facing some hard times with not being able to pay off their debts, banks failing, a recession that they have said that is coming in the second half of the year. So it's interesting time ahead. We said this is going to be a big year. All right, let's go over to market update. All right, we've got here. Let's look at the biggest gainers and losers over the past 7 days. France 8.18%, ICP 6.87%. When it comes to losers, we've got Zelica, PancakeSwap, and XDC Network, Singularity Network, and Tron Coin, Huobi, and Flare, all losing between 7 and 14% over the past week. Look at the crypto bubbles over the last week. Of red, Pepe 29.2%. Now this Pepe one has come out of nowhere. It's the meme coin, and it's the only thing that's pumping right now. They got like a mug, and they're talking about it. I went to a meeting this morning, and as I was walking in, that's what everyone was talking about. So this is a coin that's come out of nowhere. It is a meme coin, guys. I usually stay away from that. I don't invest in meme coins generally. I'm definitely not invested in this, but this seems to have a lot of room to move with exchanges now looking at launching it. Now, with any meme coin, any old coin, guys, you've got to remember they are very, very volatile. I'm not recommending anyone should buy into this. I'm just telling you what the news is out there. I'm not invested in this, and I'm not promoting this. So just putting it out there. Looking at the Bitcoin prices over the past 24 hours. Come on, load up. We've got Bitcoin down to $28,052. So there's a bit of a retractment happening right now. The market is pulling back, but that's all part of the game. Nothing keeps going up without ever coming back down. So this is just a bit of a correction. Last but not least, what's this? Okay. In greed index, we are looking at a bit of greed still, 55 out of 100. The market is still excited about what's happening about crypto at the moment. Let's move over to the Twitter highlights. We've got some pretty big highlights. Now, Bitcoin is the best example of robust open source code. So this was actually Elon Musk said the algorithm goes open source, and he basically says that Bitcoin is the best open source code. For now, we have coding. We'll get to in a minute. Nigeria. So as you guys know, Nigeria is anti-crypto, and what we're seeing here is basically they are processing to adopt widened market anticipation. Okay, although so they're looking at asset-backed tokens, but not cryptocurrency. So they're looking at putting things that are backed by, like, like if we've got gold-backed tokens or USD-backed dollar tokens. These are asset-backed tokens, and they're looking at potentially lower nodes. So as you guys know, Nigeria is a country that has been trying to push their own CBDC with not much success. Moving over, we've got here dollar adopt yuan. Syrian President Assad said Chinese yuan has already surpassed the euro in global trade invoicing. The biggest one of all, the big one is oil in RMB yuan. Syria and other countries will make petro yuan as a reality soon. So this is a news article about the Syrian president, and he's basically saying that dump the dollar and adopt the yuan. And he's got, look, I mean, if you're the president of Syria and you had the US occupying your country and stealing your oil, you would probably say the same thing, right? So moving on to our adoption highlights. So first adoption highlights is we are seeing a huge amount of transactions, record high in Bitcoin because of the inscriptions. So inscriptions are like NFTs on the Bitcoin network. They're called ordinals or ordinal inscriptions, and because of those, you can basically put any metadata to a Satoshi, so you can mint a Satoshi into an NFT onto the Bitcoin network. It's something that came out late last year, I think, or a few months ago, and because of that, now the record high at the moment is around 400,000 transactions a day. So according to this, they're saying that because of these new things, you can see the amount of transactions on Bitcoin has surpassed millions, $2.4 million in inscriptions, and burnt or used more as fees. So more transactions on Bitcoin will attract more people to it. Next up, and we have Venmo, and they are now opening up to allow fiat currency pay or fiat to crypto payments. So now basically you can buy crypto using the Venmo app, okay, which is a company that is owned by PayPal. So this is again part of PayPal's mission to allow more crypto users. However, this is now allowing people to both send and receive crypto, buy crypto, as well as send crypto to external wallets. Now, why is this important? If you guys have been seeing what's happening in America right now, a lot of the big exchanges are being choked out. So these guys are now coming in, and they are opening and they are sweeping up the market, because in America, some of the big exchanges can't allow fiat onboarding because of obviously Signature Bank and SVB Bank and what was the other? Oh, Silvergate, all those banks collapsing. So, all right. And last but not least, today, guys, we have Jack Dorsey announcing that will be a nano Bitcoin mining chip, which will be open source. So what he's saying is because of the cost of Bitcoin mining and rigs and whatnot, it's become more centralized, the mining of Bitcoin, because more of the larger companies that can buy mines, they're the ones that are mining it for profit. But now he's saying that with this nanotechnology, he will be able to make it open source, which makes it more open to people to be able to mine. All right, guys, that's it for today for the adoption news and Twitter highlights. And until we see you again on Friday, have a great week, and I'll see you guys later. Peace out.